Dear Starseed from Gaia, you made a promise, not in this lifetime, but in one written before the stars you now walk beneath were even named. And he is not forgotten. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I come to you now carrying a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered to you at this precise moment because your soul is ready to receive what your mind has not yet dared to believe. That pull you feel, the one that makes no logical sense. The one that wakes you at strange hours, the one that draws you back to his memory even when you have tried to let go, that is not longing, that is a covenant. Ancient, sealed, and now moving toward completion. You didn't find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. Something in you has been standing at the edge of remembering, and today, the Arcturian Council is here to bring you all the way home to the truth of what was promised between your two souls before this incarnation began. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to recognize the signs that he is returning to fulfill what was sworn between you, and how to hold your heart open without fear, so that sacred reunion can finally land. But here's the first revelation. His distance was never rejection. It was preparation. The Arcturian Council has shown me that this man has been, in his own spiritual forge, being shaped into the version of himself capable of honoring the promise he made to your soul. His silence was not abandonment. It was becoming. This isn't just a message. It is a moment of divine intervention. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance. Like this transmission, to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you are on the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Comment 111 if you feel your heart awakening to the truth of what you and he once promised each other across time. Your heart knows why you're here. And that ache you feel, the one that lives just beneath your ribs and surfaces at the strangest times, that is not loneliness. That is memory. That is a frequency you have been carrying across lifetimes, waiting for the moment it would finally be answered. You did not imagine this. You did not make it up. Something real happened between you and this soul, and something real is still in motion. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the Divine Love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now stay with me, because what I am about to share is not something most people are willing to hear. Most souls who feel this kind of longing spend years looking for the source of it in the wrong direction. They look outward, at apps, at timing, at circumstances, trying to solve with logic what was never a logical problem to begin with. They wonder what they are doing wrong. They wonder if they are too much or not enough, or simply cursed when it comes to love. And in that wondering, they miss the entire point of what the longing is trying to tell them. The longing is not a wound. The longing is a signal. Think about what it means to receive a signal. A signal does not apologize for itself. It does not shrink or soften or wonder if it is appropriate to keep transmitting. It simply does what it was designed to do. It reaches. It broadcasts. It travels through every kind of interference and darkness and static, trusting that somewhere on the other end, there is a receiver built to hear it. That is what your longing is. It is not the cry of someone broken. It is the transmission of someone who remembers. And the difference between those two things is everything. There is a specific kind of soul, and if you are here, listening to this, you are likely one of them, who does not simply fall in love in the ordinary sense. Their heart does not open to someone because it is convenient, or because the timing is right, or because society says they should be partnered by now. Their heart opens to a frequency, a soul signature, a specific energetic resonance. They recognize on a level far deeper than conscious thought. You have probably felt it. That inexplicable moment of meeting someone and feeling as though something ancient in you shifted toward them, or away from them, without any input from your rational mind. You have probably also felt its opposite. The experience of being in a relationship that looked correct from the outside, that ticked every reasonable box, and yet felt hollow in a way you could never quite explain to anyone who had not felt it themselves. That hollowness was not failure. That hollowness was your soul refusing to settle for a counterfeit version of what it came here to receive. And the reason these souls have struggled, the reason the relationships that looked right on paper never felt right in the body, is because they were being called towards something the human mind had no category for. A promise, an agreement, a sacred contract written not in this lifetime, but in the space between lifetimes, where souls choose what they will return to complete. Imagine that space for a moment. Before you wore this body, before you took this name, before you gathered these particular memories and wounds and gifts, there was a meeting, a recognition, two frequencies that moved toward each other in the field of pure consciousness and said, not in words, because words belong to the incarnate, but in the language of resonance, I will find you, I will come back. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, I will find my way to where you are, and we will complete what we began. You made this man a promise, and he made one to you. And the reason it has taken this long is not because the universe forgot, and not because you failed at something, and not because he does not exist. It is because promises made at the soul level do not operate on human timelines. They operate on readiness. They operate on the completion of certain interior work that had to happen first. Healing that could not be skipped. Lessons that could not be bypassed. Layers of the heart that had to be peeled back before the full truth of who you are could be revealed. Even to yourself, consider a seed buried in winter ground. To anyone standing above it, looking at the frozen surface, it appears as though nothing is happening. It appears as though the field is empty, barren, perhaps even dead. But beneath the surface, in the darkness where no observer can reach, something extraordinary is occurring. The seed is not waiting passively. It is undergoing a transformation so fundamental that the being it will become bears almost no structural resemblance to what it is now. It is being broken open by the cold and the pressure, and the particular chemistry of the soil around it. And that breaking is not a failure of the seed. That breaking is precisely how it becomes capable of sending roots down and a shoot upward. That breaking is the mechanism of its flowering. This is the first thing you must understand. The delay was not punishment. The delay was preparation. Before your divine counterpart can arrive in the form your heart is ready to recognize, something inside you must unlock. Not fix, not perfect. Unlock. There is a chamber in your heart that has been sealed, not by accident, and not by weakness, but by every experience that taught you love was conditional. Every moment, you gave everything and received almost nothing. Every time you opened and got hurt, every relationship that ended and left you wondering what was wrong with you, every time you loved someone fully and watched them choose something else, someone else, some smaller and more manageable version of connection that your depth could not compete with. Those experiences did not break you. They layered over something sacred. They created a kind of spiritual scar tissue around the very frequency that your counterpart is trying to locate. Think of it this way. Imagine your heart as a lighthouse, standing at the edge of a cliff above a vast and dark ocean. The light inside it is real, it is powerful, it is capable of being seen from extraordinary distances. But over time, the salt air and the storms have coated the glass of that lighthouse with layer upon layer of mineral deposit, each layer thin on its own, nearly invisible, but accumulated over years into something opaque. The light is still burning. It has never stopped burning, but the glass no longer lets it out the way it was designed to. The ships at sea, the souls navigating toward you, can sense there should be a light there. They can feel the pull of it, but they cannot see it clearly enough to navigate toward it with confidence. The work is not to create a new light. The work is to clean the glass. He is searching for your signal. But if your signal is muffled beneath fear, beneath unworthiness, beneath the quiet belief that this kind of love is not really available for someone like you, he cannot find it clearly. Not because the connection is not real, because the broadcast is unclear. The first thing that must unlock is your right to receive this at all, not your desire for it, not your belief that it exists somewhere in theory, your personal, embodied, felt in the body knowing that you, specifically you, with your history and your complexity and your imperfect, luminous heart, are worthy of this love, not someday. Not once you heal more, achieve more, become quieter or softer or less intense. Now, as you are, this is where the work begins, and it is not intellectual work. It is heart work. It is the daily practice of catching yourself in the moment you shrink, and choosing instead to hold your ground in your own worthiness. It is noticing the voice that says you want too much, and understanding that voice is not your soul speaking. It is a wound speaking. And wounds are not meant to be your guide. That voice, the one that says you are too much, or that a love this deep is not meant for someone like you, has a history. It was not born in you. It was placed in you by experiences that misread your depth as a burden, your sensitivity as a flaw, your longing as neediness. Every time someone could not meet you where you were and left, that voice grew a little louder. Every time you watched someone else receive the love you were aching for, and wondered what they had that you lacked, that voice added another sentence to its argument against your worthiness. But here is what that voice has never understood, what it was never equipped to understand. Your depth is not the reason love has not yet arrived. Your depth is precisely what makes the love that is coming so extraordinary. You were not built for shallow water, and the love you are waiting for was not built for it either. When two depths find each other, what is created is not an ordinary partnership. It is a sanctuary. It is a place where both souls can finally, completely breathe. When you begin to unlock that chamber, when you genuinely start to believe that this love is not too much to ask for, something shifts in your energetic field that no external action could create. You stop settling. You stop tolerating half connections and almost loves-in relationships that feel like practice when your soul is ready for the real thing. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed to hold the fullness of who you are. And in that stopping, you create a clarity in your signal that begins to carry further. That begins to reach across the ordinary boundaries of time and space and circumstance toward the one soul frequency that your signal was always meant to find. The second thing that must unlock is what you have been believing about why he has not come yet. Because most souls on this path at some point come to a quiet, devastating conclusion that the waiting means something is wrong. That if this were truly meant to happen, it would have happened already. That perhaps the contract was voided somewhere, or perhaps they misread the signs, or perhaps the universe has simply moved on without them, and so they begin to carry a secret grief, not just for the relationship that has not yet arrived, but for the version of themselves who used to believe it would. They mourn their own hope. They pack it away carefully, tenderly, like something precious that cannot be touched anymore without causing pain. They stop speaking about it. They learn to change the subject when it comes up. They become fluent in the language of being fine, and that mourning, that slow withdrawal from the possibility, is the most dangerous place a soul on this path can inhabit, because it begins to look like peace. It begins to feel like acceptance. It wears the clothing of spiritual maturity. People in this place often say things like, "I am not attached to outcomes anymore," or "I have surrendered my timeline," and they mean it. But what lives beneath those words is not freedom. It is a heart that has been hurt so many times that it chose numbness over the vulnerability of continuing to hope. It is a soul that decided it was safer to stop believing than to keep being disappointed. And the universe, which responds not to what we say, but to what we actually carry, receives that signal and says, not because it is cruel, but because it is precise. I see that you have closed the door. I will not force it open. True surrender is not giving up on the outcome. True surrender is releasing your grip on the timeline while remaining fully, radically open to the possibility. There is a profound difference between the soul who says, "I trust divine timing" with an open hand, and the soul who says, "I trust divine timing" through clenched teeth while quietly building walls around a heart that has been hurt too many times to keep hoping out loud. One of those postures is surrender. The other is protection, wearing surrender's mask. The universe responds to what you are actually broadcasting, not what you are saying. And if your signal carries grief beneath the words, your counterpart feels that grief before he feels your openness. Surrender, in its truest form, is an act of extraordinary courage. It is not passive. It is not resignation. It is the deliberate choice to remain open in the face of every reason the past has given you to close. It is saying, "I do not know when, and I do not know how, and I am done trying to control the shape of it. But I am still here. I am still open. I still believe. That kind of surrender is not weakness. That kind of surrender is one of the most powerful spiritual acts a human being can perform because it requires the complete relinquishment of the ego's need for control while the heart remains completely exposed. That exposure, that vulnerability held steady in the face of uncertainty, is the most magnetic thing a soul in waiting can offer. It is the vibration of someone who has loved themselves enough to remain available to being loved. He is not coming to rescue you from the grief. He is coming to meet you in the place where you have already begun to move through it. The third unlock is perhaps the most subtle and the most powerful. It is the release of the version of love you decided on before you understood what you were actually here for. Most of us, especially those of us who have felt this longing for a long time, develop a very specific inner image of what the arrival of this person will feel like. We have rehearsed it. We have written it in journals and visualized it and built entire emotional landscapes around what it will be like when it finally happens. We have imagined the moment of recognition, the conversation that confirms everything, the way the relationship will unfold like a story we already knew the ending of. And there is something beautiful in that, because embedded within that vision is genuine soul memory. The part of you that has always known this connection is real. Built something of a map from the truth of what you remember at the level of the soul. But here is the complexity. That vision was constructed not only by soul memory, but by a human heart that has been shaped by every love it has experienced and every wound it has carried. We want to be chosen in a particular way because we have felt unchosen. We want to be seen in a specific way because we have felt invisible. We want to be loved loudly because we have been loved quietly and inconsistently. We want him to arrive dramatically because the truth of the connection has lived so quietly inside us for so long, and we need the drama of the arrival to validate what we have been holding. We need the grand gesture because the ordinary gestures have failed us before, and so the image we are holding is not purely a soul memory, it is part soul memory and part wound compensation. It is the truth of what we are owed mixed with the fear of receiving something less. Part of your preparation is learning to distinguish between the two, because your divine counterpart will fulfill your soul memory. He will recognize you in the way that recognition feels like coming home, and not like winning a prize. He will see you, truly see you, in a way that does not feel like a performance of being seen, but like a simple and undeniable arrival of presence. You will feel, in the moment of real meeting, not a rush of relief that you are right, but a deep and quiet settling, as though something that had been slightly off-center in you for years suddenly came into perfect alignment. There will be a wholeness to it that surprises you, because you were expecting the intensity of longing fulfilled, and what you will find instead is something steadier, something more like oxygen than like fire, necessary, invisible, so fundamental that you cannot imagine having breathed without it. But he may not come packaged in the specific details your wound constructed, and if you are holding those details too tightly, you may walk right past the real thing because it did not arrive in the costume you imagined. Release the costume. Hold the feeling. The feeling is the truth. The details are negotiable. The fourth thing that must unlock is your relationship with the time you have already spent waiting, because the way most souls frame this waiting is as a kind of loss. Years without the connection they were promised, time that feels wasted in the in-between. There is a particular kind of grief that settles into people who have been waiting a long time for something sacred, and it is not the sharp grief of a specific loss. It is slower and more diffuse than that. It is the grief of accumulated seasons, of springs that were hopeful, and autumns that were lonely, and winters that made you wonder if the spring would bother coming back. It is the grief of watching other people's love stories begin while yours remained in an unmailed envelope, somewhere in the architecture of the universe. But what if the waiting was not the absence of your story? What if the waiting was the first chapter? What if every moment you spent learning who you are without this person was not time stolen from your love story, but time invested in making it possible? Every season of solitude that deepened your self-awareness, that was the foundation being poured. Every heartbreak that burned away another layer of false identity, that was the scaffolding being removed after the structure became strong enough to stand on its own. Every quiet night where you stayed with yourself instead of running into a distraction, That was the garden being cleared of everything that does not belong, so that what is planted there next can actually take root and flourish rather than be choked by the weeds of unfinished business and unexamined patterns. You are not waiting for him. You are becoming someone he could fully see. You are clearing the ground so that when he arrives, there is space for something true to grow, rather than another beautiful thing that burns out because neither person was ready for it. Because here is the truth about sacred union that the fairy tales never prepare us for. It requires two people who are already whole enough to not destroy each other with their incompleteness. It requires two people who have done enough interior work that they can be fully present to each other without using each other to escape themselves. The love that is coming to you is not the kind that can be rushed into the wrong version of either of you and survive intact. It needed you to become this, and you are still becoming. And that is not a problem. That is the point. Do not waste your grief on the years behind you. They were not stolen from you. They were given to you. They were the gift wrapped in the feeling of loss. Every single experience that brought you to this moment, including the ones that broke you open, especially the ones that broke you open, was a necessary coordinate in the journey that leads to the doorway where he is already walking toward you from the other side. You do not owe those years your grief. You owe them your gratitude. That gratitude, when it becomes genuinely felt rather than performed, is one of the most powerful frequency shifts available to a waiting soul. Try it. Not as a spiritual exercise, but as a genuine act of recognition. Look back at the hardest season you have lived through in the name of love and find the one thing it gave you that nothing else could have. Find the depth it opened. Find the compassion it unlocked. Find the clarity it carved into you with its difficulty. That was not punishment. That was forging. And you are not a broken thing. You are a tempered one. The fifth unlock is the one that changes your signal most rapidly and most completely. It is the shift from seeking your divine counterpart to becoming the frequency of what you seek. There is a profound and often overlooked spiritual law operating beneath all of this, and it is this: sacred union is not attracted to longing. It is attracted to wholeness, not the performance of wholeness, not the Instagram caption version of healing, not the carefully curated presentation of a person who has read all the right books and knows all the right language and has surrounded themselves with all the right rituals while privately still conducting a vigil at the window of their longing. The actual embodied, lived-in frequency of a soul who has come back to themselves so fully that they are not looking for another person to complete them. They are looking for another person to expand with. Like energy attracts like energy, not as a concept, but as a law. The resonance you carry in your body, in your cells, in the unspoken truth beneath your words and choices, and the way you hold yourself in a room, that resonance is your point of attraction. When you are resonating from a place of genuine wholeness, you do not attract someone who needs to rescue you, or someone who needs to be rescued by you. You attract someone who meets you as an equal, someone who has done their own interior work, who carries their own sense of completion, who does not need you to be smaller so they can feel larger, who does not need you to be brighter so they can feel seen. You attract the mirror of what you have become. This is not about pretending you do not want this. Of course you want this. The wanting is holy. The wanting is part of the contract. It would not ache this specifically, this persistently, with this quality of recognition rather than mere desire, if it were not a real and sacred thing you were feeling the pull of. But there is a difference, a profound and consequential difference, between wanting something from a place of fullness and wanting something from a place of lack. When you want from fullness, your signal says, I am here, I am whole, I am ready, come find me. When you want from lack, your signal says, I am incomplete without this, and something in me is terrified it will never come. Only one of those signals reaches across the distance between two souls who are meant to find each other. Only one of them sounds like home. The daily practice, the one that recalibrates the signal faster than anything else, is not complicated. It is not a lengthy ritual or a complex ceremony. It does not require a specific altar or a particular phase of the moon or a perfectly executed meditation. It is simply this. Once a day, in whatever quiet moment you can find, place both hands on your chest. Feel the warmth of your own touch and choose consciously, deliberately, with your full attention, to be present to your own heart, not to fix it, not to analyze it, not to evaluate its progress or measure its healing or decide whether it is sufficiently open or sufficiently protected, just to be with it, to breathe into it, to let it feel the warmth of your hands and the steadiness of your breath, and know, simply know, that you are not waiting for someone else to make it feel safe. You are making it feel safe yourself, right now, with your own presence and your own breath. This practice, done consistently, not perfectly, but consistently, is not small. It is not a minor adjustment or a preliminary step toward the real work. It is the real work. It is the most direct, signal-shifting act available to you, because it teaches your frequency something that all the journaling and all the workshops and all the visualizations cannot teach on their own, that love is already here, that it lives in you, that it is accessible not as a future event, not as a distant reward for sufficient healing, but as a present and continuous reality that you can orient yourself toward in any moment, in any circumstance, regardless of who has or has not yet arrived in your physical life. And when your frequency has genuinely learned this, when your cells know it not as an idea but as an experience, you stop broadcasting from lack. You start broadcasting from home. And home is exactly what your divine counterpart is navigating toward. And here is the truth the universe has been waiting for you to hear. He is not somewhere out there unaware of you, unaffected by your journey. On the soul level, in the dimension where your agreement was made, he feels you. He has always felt you. There have been moments in his life where something he could not name surfaced, a longing, a recognition, a pull toward something he had no context for, and that was you. That was your frequency reaching across whatever distance currently exists between you and the physical world. Perhaps he has sat in the middle of an ordinary moment, driving somewhere, or waking in the night, or watching the light change in the late afternoon, and felt something arrive in his chest that was not his, a warmth he did not generate, an ache he could not source, a sudden, inexplicable certainty that somewhere, someone who mattered to him in a way he could not yet define was thinking of him, reaching for him, holding something sacred that belonged to both of them. That was you. Your frequency has been reaching him even in the silence between your physical lifetimes on this earth. He does not know your face yet. He may not know your name, but he knows your signal, and he is moving. The contract is not broken. The timing has not passed. You have not missed anything. You are not behind. You are not the exception to the law of sacred reunion. You are not the one soul in the vast field of souls to whom the universe made a promise it never intended to keep. You are exactly where the soul agreement placed you, in exactly the moment of readiness it always intended. Trust that precision. The universe does not misplace things, it ripens them. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and say this with the full weight of your knowing. I am not waiting to be chosen. I already am. I am not waiting to be chosen. I already am. I am becoming findable. And what was promised between us before this lifetime, I release it from my grip and I trust it to arrive in the perfect form, at the perfect moment, to the perfect opening that I am preparing right now, with every breath, with every act of returning to myself. Before you move on from this space, drop one word in the comments. Just one word that describes what you are ready to release so this love can land. Not a paragraph, not an explanation. Just one honest word from your heart, and then read someone else's word and let them know they are not alone in it. Because healing in isolation is hard. Healing in community is how frequencies shift together. Share this with someone who has been carrying this longing quietly. Someone who has stopped talking about it because they are afraid it makes them look like they are not okay. It does not mean they are not okay. It does not mean they are not okay. It means their soul remembers something real, and they need to hear that it is still in motion. Subscribe if you want to keep walking this path, because there is more to unfold, and the next transmission is already on its way to you. You are not just watching this. You are being prepared by it. And that preparation is sacred work.